Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, from wherever you're watching us. Well, I'm so glad that you're joining us for another interesting episode of the Candid Talk. As usual, my name is Evan Sokini. Now, I'm joined here by the one and only university don and, of course, political commentator and analyst, the one of his kind, Professor Herman Manyora. Prof, how are you?
Yes, Evans.
Yes,
How are you?
I'm quite okay.
Wonderful.
How was your weekend?
Wonderful. We thank God
Uh-huh.
for all the good things He continues to give us,
Definitely.
even when we don't deserve. Yeah.
You get to understand some people do claim that today is a holiday.
Yeah.
Others say fail to go to job at your own risk.
Yeah, I've talked to somebody somewhere tells public schools are closed. I mean, people thought it was a holiday. People are not going to school. That from his window could hear school vans hooting to collect children, but there's nobody to be collected.
Of course, we would like to join the Indians in celebrating
Yeah,
the Diwali, even though I don't know more about it.
But this country surely must cut down on holidays. We have done too many holidays.
Yeah, I saw a number of people complaining online that we are so much into holidays and so on and so forth. So we need
We
to
have
cut
a
down
country
on
to build. And this idea of giving one man in the name of a minister the power to declare a public holiday, it must not be like that.
Well, no, Prof, something that is interesting is taking place in the country as usual. Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, the Right Honorable, of course, he was seen attending the Mashujaa Day celebrations at Uhuru Park with the president and the deputy president, and perhaps a number of Kenyans read something from his attendance. Then people are saying, oh, perhaps he's decided to work with government. And then just the other day, yesterday, we saw the president in Ukambani paying at least his first visit to that region after being elected as the president. And Kalonzo was absent. In fact, he decided to join his colleagues in Homa Bay County. Now, Prof, let us begin from Kalonzo's attendance to that Mashujaa Day. What do you read from his actions on that
But
particular
the
day?
Mashujaa Day is about Kenyans, not about Ruto or Gachagua. And Kalonzo is first a Kenyan, secondly, a leader in his own right. The man has served as vice president of the country. And he's a person you cannot ignore.
So,
Attending Mashujaa Day is quite in order. Quite in order. The Mashujaa Day is not about Ruto or Gachagua, it's about Kenya.
so he went there literally as
a Kenyan leader.
as a normal Kenyan would.
A normal Kenyan and a Kenyan leader. Yes.
No, Prof, allow me to take you back a little bit. During before the elections, of course, we saw how Kalonzo factor came to play in, and you people were like, once Kalonzo went the Azimio way, then it was game over for these people. And we actually saw him, the Ukambani voters, and actually they voted for the Azimio One Kenya coalition almost to the last man. Definitely, then what do you things went haywire? Or they went as they went, and eventually he was also wrong in his political gamble this time
Why?
around. Because,
elections are about winning and losing. It can never be about you are wrong because your side lost. No. That would mean if you join Arsenal and they don't take the cup, then you are wrong. No, forget about it. No, there's nothing wrong about being in Azimio or being in Kenya Kwanza.
It's
not about a gamble. It's a political choice you make.
He's been with the likes of Mudavadi, the likes of Wetankula before, and this time around, these people are trying to woo him to the other side and tell him, please, let's not go that direction. And perhaps he decided to make his own decision, and we saw it cost him. The rest of them are now in government.
What has it cost him? It has cost him nothing. You know, you people, you keep kissing this thing in terms of the presidency. This is a bigger thing than being president. Ruto is the president, but just a battle he has won. The war is continues. The war to make this country a better place. That is the bigger picture. That is the big thing. It's not about who becomes president. And if it were to be done all over again and I was to advise Kalonzo, I would think the choice he made was correct. He was on the side of history. You know, if you look at history properly, people always go for quick gains, for things that are popular. But history always proves them wrong. Yeah, so when the history of this country is written properly, and history does not take bribes. No, you can't bribe history. No, you can't bribe history. You can't con history. No, history is history. When the history of this country is written, there will be a chapter for Kalonzo. Yeah, as far as these elections are concerned. Yeah, doesn't matter who won the election or who was made president or who became president.
Now, Prof, we had a number of conversations before the election. Of course, the president was saying that he's got no problem with Kalonzo Musyoka, and of course, he was giving statements saying there that whenever he went to Kambani, he would tell them, of course, huyu mtu wenu tutampanga hapa mbele. And of course, the president has gone public and said that he approached Kalonzo Musyoka personally to talk to him and perhaps give him some sort of a job. But he said that he refused, he declined that job. Now, do you think it would be wise for Kalonzo Musyoka to accept and work with the government, or rather stay in opposition?
Working with government is not a bad idea. That's in fact what Kenyans must do. There's nothing with Raila Odinga working with the government or Kalonzo Musyoka, because this is our country. And I mean, we must help the president if it is necessary to help him. Because it's our country at the end of the day. We only have one country. So Kalonzo working with the government, there will be nothing wrong. Nothing wrong with Ruto wooing Kalonzo in the elections. Come on our side. That's normal. But you must also be fair to Kalonzo. Ruto was too junior for Kalonzo to join and work under him as a small nobody.
Oh, come on.
Come on.
Prof, how do you say that Ruto was
That's
junior? How?
That it is. That's what it is.
What
look,
is it?
Look even at Mudavadi, how awkward he looks. In a government where Ruto, junior to him, is running for president, Gachagua for deputy president, and you are some junior boy down there. You wanted Kalonzo to be some junior boy to some junior fellows.
But how would you call like Ruto a junior boy?
He was junior to Kalonzo then.
He's been
now
a deputy president. He's been a deputy president for the past 10 years in the country.
So Kalonzo could only go higher. He could not go that low. He could deputize someone like Raila. Yeah.
Not definitely
not
Ruto.
That was.
And of course, even if he would have gone,
I mean, I'm trying to put myself in Kalonzo's shoes. It was very difficult working with the team that Ruto had put together. I mean, they have won the government, but you can even see the confusion around. It seems they were not ready for government. Yeah.
Now, even without the position of opposition being official in the constitution, of course, as things stand now, I doubt if it's officially in the constitution. It's not entrenched there. It's something that we as Kenyans see from our own point of view. Now, my question is, do you think that Kalonzo is groomed enough right now to take up the opposition mantle that has been held for a while by Right Honorable Raila Odinga?
You have seen in the recent past, Kalonzo has come out very forcefully to show that he can lead the country, not just the opposition. He can lead the country. He has what it takes. He can lead the country. I have no doubt about it.
Yeah. No. You think he's capable of doing that?
He can. Yeah. What's wrong? He can do it. But you see, the dynamics of politics. There are many things that you have to consider. Don't just say because I've been around for long, then I can now be the one to take over. There are changes, there are things that are moving. Ruto has put the politics of the country on another level. Yeah. You need to compete at that level where Ruto has put it. It's a fairly high level, fairly complex, made worse by the use of money. So people like Kalonzo have not been used to using resources in their politics. And now with the Ruto approach to politics, anybody trying to play in the Kenyan politics must work with the reality. And that's why people like Raila will have big problems. You must work with the reality of the corrupted system, the corrupted politics. While not agreeing you must go that direction, you can never ignore the fact that you will not play in this league without a measure of use of resources. Yeah. And this may be a challenge to them.
No, some people are already looking at Kalonzo's steps and perhaps saying here that these are perhaps his political gimmicks and geared towards preparing himself for the 2027 general elections. Yes. And of course, do you then think that, because a number of Kenyans here do think that the 2017 elections were a little bit tough for President Ruto, as you could compare them to the 2022 in comparison to 2027, because by then it would be in power.
2027 would be a walkover.
And perhaps it would be a walkover.
There are two ways of looking at anything. Anything. First with any situation, any phenomenon. First with the politics. First with reading a game. There are always two ways of doing it. The first one is the easier one, which every idiot can see, which every fool can see. And that is that this is Gol Mahia playing Moroni FC. and therefore Gor Mahia will automatically win. That's the easiest way. You know, Gor Mahia is going to play some English Premier. I don't know that there's a club. Of course, they will be beaten. That is the easier way. So if you look at things in that way, you say, kama Ruto alishinda hii 2022 against system, against Uhuru incumbent, Raila, what? 2077 is a walkover. That is the easier way. A very cheap way of looking at things. Because things in this world don't work like that. No. Things don't work like that in this world. Things are a lot more complex than that. And therefore, the other way of looking at this issue is that there could be dynamics, and indeed there will be and there must be dynamics, which you have to take into consideration. So supposing by the time we get to 2027, the price of unga is 400. The hustler fund never materialized. Fuel is 250. And so on and so on and so on. Nothing has happened. Everybody is crying. Are you sure it will still be a walkover for Ruto?
But Prof, come on, do you think those things do matter to
I am saying dynamics.
Some of the Kenyans?
Supposing the Kikuyus between now and 2027 decide they want to take this girl, they are no longer comfortable being flower girls. They look at the way 2027 worked. They look like maybe Raila is no longer in the picture. And they say there's nobody who can marshal more numbers than us. And Jimmy Wanjigi comes on, for example, or Omwangi or area, whoever it is. And the Kikuyu say, we will snatch this thing. Or even Gachagua calculates, by 2032, Kenyans will not allow another Kikuyu to succeed at Kalenjin. Let me break it early enough. And he stands. Because you will calculate, without Raila, nobody can organize the entire country against the Kikuyus. So now, if a Kikuyu stands, it means Ruto and that Kikuyu and the two other candidates are almost at par, and none of them can win. It depends on the alliances you build in terms of running mate, in terms of what. Again, it's most likely between now and then we shall have a new constitution. Because both sides agree there's need to change the constitution. And then there's the prime minister. You can never know the impact of dynamics.
But of course, this idea of changing the constitution was rubbished by the.
But are the ones who are using it more. Who is Mudavadi? What is Mudavadi in government?
I wonder then. But
they talked of positions. The president is fighting the courts in terms of this case. Chief administrator. They said the money to the counties. They are the ones who are saying they want to supplementary to beef up money to the county. So basically everybody is saying the same thing. CDF has gone from the courts. They might need to change the constitution to go the BBI way of ward funds, and maybe calibrate a bit to include the MPs. So everybody wants to change the constitution, those in power, not Raya. So if the constitution has been changed, you can see there's so much that could happen between now and 2027. But finally, who tells you Ruto will go up to 2027?
Come on, of course we know.
Some lady was made prime minister in the UK.
He's got control over
the parliament. Which control over what?
But surely
nobody.
People...
Let me tell you, my friend. You know, the way I see Ruto and Gachagua talking up to now, you have talked of Kitui. They are still saying Kuzimia. You know, and these are people in power. Yeah. And they're irritating people who are already annoyed. And I'm pointing out to them, and I'm being a very good man. Nobody will tell them apart from me. There is no guarantee Ruto can go to 2027. There's no guarantee.
Then, Prof, my question therefore is this: what is the winning ticket here? What is the winning ticket here? Is it about some of the factors, the state of the economy, or such kind of stuff? Or people would rather say, as long as it's our person, and that is the way to go.
You know, we have suffered, and people have always said our person. But you've noticed in the last election, contrary to what some of us thought, the bit of tribe was not as prominent as it has always been. So. Number two, people may ignore things because of those in power are their people. But things can get to a point where they can't ignore anymore.
There's some people,
Yeah.
there's some Kenyans who believe that perhaps vying against William Ruto in 2027 would be a tall order for
And that
Kalonzo
is the
Musyoka.
more reason why some people may get him before 2027.
Ah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Another thing, we've seen him walk around in the company of some of the Luo politicians. Definitely was in Homa Bay, and he's been down there in his tour of the Luo region, perhaps consolidating them. And do you think that Raila could this time round jaribu kurudisha mkono pale kidogo, we see as some sort of him giving support to Kalonzo Musyoka, so that
It
at
is
the end of the
possible
day,
for the Luo to support Kalonzo if Raila says so. But the people you are mentioning, those are nobodies. Those are survivors. Those are not people. You cannot replace Raila. You are a Kidero, you are Miguna. If you attack Raila today, if your intention is to be a Luo leader, you cannot go to Luo leadership via attacks on Raila. It collapses before you start.
but we've seen Kalonzo
Because
walk with,
you know Raila, you look at other leaders, Ruto, what? People follow them. They are heroes. But to the Luo, Raila is a messiah. You don't replace a messiah just like that. No, he's a messiah.
No,
It's a religion. So those who are thinking they can replace Raila just like that, I sympathize with them. I really sympathize.
no. Kalonzo has been seen in the company of the likes of James Orengo, Moses Kajwang, of course, those Luo leaders who are affiliated to the former prime minister, of course, and perhaps this indicates that there may be some sort of a goodwill from the former prime minister to finally.
It's possible. And to me, it is not. If Raila decides he has played his role, maybe he's too old or too tired, there will be nothing wrong with him supporting Kalonzo, whoever it is, including go out of even to central Kenya and pick somebody and support them. Mada Karua,
and definitely,
Wanjigi, they have worked together, all these fellows. There's nothing wrong.
and definitely a Kalonzo ticket with the support of Raila would give Ruto a very good run for it.
And stop thinking that for Ruto 2027 is a walk-off. The dynamics of politics. Don't play with the dynamics of politics. It's never as easy. For Trump, you remember, it was obvious. He didn't make it. What killed Trump? What finished Trump? Black Lives Matter. That boot on the neck of that guy called George. Was it George Floyd?
Yeah, George Floyd. Yeah.
That finished Trump. Just one boot on an African neck. And then the corona again. So politics, you can be very popular. But one small thing happens and you are gone. So don't look at Kenya. I'm trying to train to see, make Kenyans see. Wawache hii mambo ya kuangalia elections in 5 year thing. 2027, 2032. Hiyo kitu inaanza kuisha. People will begin going midterm. Unakuta next year maisha imekuwa ngumu, Wakenya wanaambia Ruto, you have tried, you are a good man. But go home, let's try somebody else. Na anaenda tu. Anasema, kweli yenyewe, huyu mwanamke amemaliza siku ngapi UK? A couple of days, like, she says, I am not a quitter. But
Then the next day she quit.
Yeah. That's how those things are coming here. And why? Not because Ruto is a bad man. Not because the Gachagua president will be a bad man. No. Because the dynamics, the changing times, things that are beyond the government and which citizens don't see. Things Ruto was blaming Uhuru for. Now he's there. He can't do anything about them. Now all of a sudden Ukraine is important. All of a sudden the price of oil is important. All of a sudden the dollar is important. And you are saying handshake. So those are the things that will get people out of office before the term is over in future.
Now, Prof, as we conclude this conversation, Kalonzo said he's ready to pick up the mantle of opposition. Now, speak to me about this idea of the Azimio side talking about them forming a shadow cabinet to perhaps oversight on the government.
Shadow cabinet operates where we have an official opposition. Like in the UK, we have a royal opposition. That opposition is well-funded. We used to have that. We had a well-funded opposition. For sometimes it worked, including shadow cabinet. I don't know why we lost it. By the time we were getting to the grand coalition government, by around the time when Kibaki came, the excitement of the rainbow and then the coalition Usumukata government, we lost it. But it was in the constitution. And it had worked. Between 1992, the first multi-party after those many years, and 1997, up to 2000, around 2002. Then we were so optimistic about change, we lost some of those things. when Kibaki came to power. And then we have removed it from the constitution. So
How relevant is this?
no, it works when there's an official opposition. We don't have opposition. We have majority and minority. Parliament is supposed to be one, oversighting the national government, the executive.
Of which they don't do actually right now.
Yeah, they don't do. So we do not understand the new constitution. So I don't see the idea of what opposition can do are just two things. One, come up with the clear programs of what they want to do. Two, create structures to make that possible. You know? So they should be, we want to do this within this specific time, between now and 2027. Okay? Then we need a strong secretariat and the various structures, strong. And they must be well funded. So they must look for money. Because that's where Ruto has put the politics of the country. And finally, the opposition must prepare to take over government tomorrow. 2027 is not. Where there is an effective opposition, they always prepare to take government the following day. We will look at 5 years. No, the following day. You can see Ruto and his government. They were not prepared to be government. They are going to waste like 2 years finding their way, making all manner of blunder. They do not impress you as a side that was ready to take over government. You see? Ruto is using even the old and the constitutional cabinet to make very serious decisions, which is all wrong. You know? He doesn't even understand the feeling of positions of Inspector General through an act of parliament that was completely unconstitutional. So if he was ready to take over government, he would even have known the state of the economy. So Gachagua and Ruto go to parliament, they tell us, whoa, to State House, whoa, you serikali haina kitu. How can you be taking government before you know? That's why I'm saying the opposition must be ready to take over from Ruto tomorrow, not 2027. That's how oppositions work.
The opposition should be ready to take over from William Ruto tomorrow,
Yes.
not 2027.
Correct.
That is a good point of wrapping up this conversation. Of course, you've heard it from the man himself, Professor Herman Manyora. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning to our program here. And of course, we do say that do not fail to subscribe to our channel here at Herman Manyora, and of course at Let's Talk Love Kenya. And kindly, please do not fail to comment so that we may get to know some of your comments and whatever it is that you want us to do, or whatever it is that you want us to talk about and perhaps help you understand in this country. Well, till next time, have yourself a very lovely day. I've been your host, Evan Sokinyi.